Welcome back to Ant Recaps. Today I am going to explain the movie Knight's End. Released in the year 2022, the film begins with a house and a man named Ken Barber who has moved in. In Ken's past, he had a nervous breakdown a few years ago. Due to it, he got separated from his wife. After it, he lost his job, and Ken's wife did second marriage, and Ken's kids live with her. The man whom his wife married was a good man, and he was also a friend of Ken. We discover Ken was unemployed and had a variety of problems, including a nervous breakdown and a sleep problem. He used to stay worried because of all those problems. He comes to a new town for solving those problems. He was trying to solve his problems for the sake of his job and searches on his laptop for jobs while sitting at home. He has made his YouTube channel and uploaded many videos on it. Because his channel was new, he was not receiving any returns, and the people ask him how to work on the YouTube channel. He tells them to keep working because they will be rewarded someday. Well, Ken was worried because of his sleep problem. If he sleeps, he wakes up immediately. He wakes up at night when those things trouble him and starts counting. Ken has isolated himself and doesn't go out of the house, even there was just one more apartment in the building in which he lives. There wasn't any other apartment. One day he video calls his friend and was discussing how his channel will grow. Meanwhile, his friend says, "Do you know the bird behind you fell down from the shelf itself?" When Ken checks in, the viewers speculate that his apartment is haunted. Ken sees those birds they were made artificial birds while putting something on those dead birds. Then he talks to his ex-wife and tells her about it, but she says, did he check before buying the house? Or asked the owner if is it safe? Maybe the owner also doesn't know about all this, or maybe the building is haunted. Actually, his ex-wife likes the topics about ghosts, and she was kidding with Ken. Now, Ken researches on this building and discovers this is an ancient building. He discovers a girl of 15 years named Roberta fell down from this building's window and died due to it, but the girl was also trying to end her father. The girl died, but her father escaped, and during this research, Ken's nose starts bleeding. Ken ignores and takes it normal. Then he records a video for his channel in the next scene and tells about Roberta in it. Meanwhile, the door of his room knocks, and Ken becomes worried because none except him lives in the building. A hand touches him as he opens the door, and a girl shouts loudly. He becomes worried and gets faint. He becomes frightened, and the next day, he tells this to his friend on a video call. His friend suggests him to make his own ghost channel after hearing this. He asks him to send his videos to the other channel, and he tells that channel's name because you will get many views there, and I would say you should make a lot of videos in your house. You can earn a lot of money while capturing the spirit of your house in a spirit jar. Ken doesn't know anything about the spirit jar, so his friend tells him. He says the spirits are captured in those jars having strange symbols. Ken holds his friend and moves to do something, but when he returns he finds his laptop far from his location. There were artificial birds on his laptop meanwhile. Ken was hearing some voices from the room and sees Roberta's spirit as well. He gets scared and starts counting, then the things become normal after it. The spirit also disappears, and the next day, Ken is shown doing his normal routine tasks. Meanwhile, Roberta's spirit was also wandering in his house, then he again calls his friend and shows him the spirit jar. He says, I have made this jar, and also wrote the symbols on it told by you. He also shows him a book and tells he has made those symbols while copying from the book. This book was written for ghosts, and Ken opens the book, then he reads a few words from it while opening the jar to imprison Roberta's spirit. Suddenly, the lights of Ken's house start blinking and the brightness of his laptop increased suddenly and Ken screamed. The scream of a girl was also heard. Ken's friend becomes surprised to see this and asks what happened. Ken tells his friend, "I just fell from my chair and got faint after it. I don't know what happened next." Ken goes to his washroom and a ribbon appears from his mouth and Ken becomes worried to see it. On another side, Roberta's spirit was wandering then. He talks to his wife. His wife tells him the name of a channel of a dark corner, and then he watches the ghost's videos. A demonic face appears on the laptop screen when Ken was watching the videos. Ken gets scared and talks to the book author. In the next scene, the book in which the paranormal activities of spirits were written, the writer sees the spirit jar made by Ken and tells the symbols written on it are wrong. He tells he has a normal jar and no spirit can be imprisoned in it. We have to put some offerings in the jar while performing the ritual, but you didn't do it. Ken opens the jar and it was empty. Ken reads the book in the next scene and was reading the demons chapter. Then he sleeps and sees a dream in which Roberta's spirit haunts him and scares him. He also sees a demonic face now. Ken was fed up with his nervous breakdown, sleep problem, and all this. One day, Ken sees Roberta's spirit wandering in the house while he was doing some task. Then suddenly, the house door shut and he becomes terrified. An invisible thing attacks the door due to it. He gets hurt, then he calls his wife and tells there is another spirit in the house who wants to end me. His wife thinks he is hallucinating and tells him that you are hallucinating, and Ken drinks beer, so that's the reason his ex-wife couldn't believe him. He talks to his friend in the next scene and asks if the ritual he performed went wrong. Is this the reason for the happenings to him? His friend asks him not to worry, and during this they argue. His friend says everything will be fine, but firstly you have to take care of yourself. Ken again talks to the book author, and he tells that I have researched and discovered that Roberta's mother has ended her. Her mother pushed her from the window and later she ended herself as well. The ritual you performed went wrong, and her mother has arrived here from the evil world. Her mother's spirit is making itself powerful, and it will imprison Roberta's spirit when it will become powerful. It will again do the same as before she has ended Roberta, and this will become a time loop. This will happen repeatedly, and now Ken, your task is to release Roberta's spirit. You have to imprison her mother's spirit, and for this, I will send you my spirit jar. The writer says I want to see the ribbon appear from your mouth. Ken moves to his room to bring the ribbon, and the writer starts performing his ritual. There were yellow light in his eyes later. Ken talks to his ex-wife again and tells her that his interview is tomorrow. He also received an offer from the site where he uploaded his spirit videos. It was a dark corner site, and his friend and ex-wife were added by Ken's site. Now they were talking about Roberta's case. When investigating Roberta's case, a boy claims he found no evidence that her mother pushed her. Ken joins their group and they see an old video of Ken. There was Roberta's spirit standing behind Ken, and there was another power whose eyes were shining while having a yellow light. Few people said it was Roberta's mother, but even fewer said it couldn't be her mother. It is another spirit. Ken starts the ritual to capture the spirit. He has to put some things in the jar, and those were sent by the writer along with the jar. There was a purple rock in those things, as well as his severed thumb. Everyone gets surprised to see this, but Ken hurriedly put all things in the jar, and there was Roberta's spirit as he starts the ritual. It shouts loudly, and everyone gets scared to see this. Everything was destroying at Ken's house, but the writer welcomes a demon who was ready to destroy the whole world. They get shocked to see this, and when the writer says this, his eyes turned yellow and his house sets on fire. He dies because of being burnt, and on another side, everyone was hearing voices in their houses. There was yellow light in everyone's house, and it controls them. Their eyes were also glowing yellow light, and people were dying gradually. Ken gets scared to see this, and then the writer arrives at his home. The writer whom we saw dying because of being burnt. His eyes were turned yellow, and a demon has controlled his body, and he was getting excited to see all of them. It means it was the writer's plan who wrote the book, and it was his plan to bring the devil demon into this world. Ken comes out of the house, terrified, and notices the yellow light emanating from every house. The demon has control over everyone's thinking. We learn here that the writer sacrificed his thumb because he offered his body to the demon. That's the reason, and there wasn't any spirit of Roberta's mother in Ken's house. Roberta died her death, and this story was made by the writer. If we talk about Ken, he was suffering from many problems. He had mental issues, as a result of which he couldn't sleep and had a nervous breakdown. This is the reason the writer used Ken to call the demon. Here the movie concludes. Thank you for your time.